Hi everybody, this is Shane R. Monroe, and today we're going to be looking at the Street Fighter II Replicade Fight Stick. This was designed to be an extra controller for our little Replicade cabinet like this one for Street Fighter, but they sell them separately, and on Black Friday they were $8 a piece plus shipping. For Cyber Monday, they hung out at $10 a piece, which still would be a pretty good deal for a quality little arcade type controller. This little controller, we're going to put it against a different Replicade machine, a phone, a Chromebook Duet, and we're going to plug it into the PC and show you what works and what doesn't work. Let's get the box open and take a look at this guy. So it ships in a very simple box. Inside the box are some spacers here, some packing. You have your micro USB cord, and you have the controller itself. It looks a little bit bigger in the ad than it actually turned out to be. Let's go ahead and tuck these guys away. This is a fully wired controller. There's no way to use this wirely. It's not Bluetooth. There's no way to play this without a cord attached to it, which is okay. That's the way it was advertised, but a lot of people may think that something of this size would probably have a little battery in it, and maybe you could use it as some sort of a wireless controller. It has 6 buttons along for the fighting pieces, and then like a start button here at the top, and it's got a full 8-directional joystick. There's nothing else really worthy of looking at other than the micro USB port on the top, and it's got 4 little rubber feet at the bottom. And the rubber feet are great because if you want to put it on a table, it won't slide around a whole lot, which is great. And it comes with a decent length of USB cable. So it's not too bad. Looks like about maybe 3 feet, 4 feet. Plug it in, and this guy is ready to go. So it's a standard USB plug. If you're going to use it on another device, such as a phone or a tablet or even a laptop, you may not have this USB port available. You'll have to get an adapter that does USB-A to USB-C. This does not come in the box. Like every phone I've bought in the last 10 years has one of these thrown in the box. So go open your Samsung Galaxy box. You probably have one of these in there. And then all you have to do is adapt that and it will plug into one of your other devices. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the construction first. Then we're going to plug it into all of these devices and see how well it works. So from a construction point of view, that's very important. How does this feel? I'm going to go ahead and take this cable off. How does it feel in your hand? Is this something you could use comfortably? After all, it is rather small. I've played around with this thing for about an hour and a half now. Not this one, I bought 3 of these things. I opened one up and played with it to make sure it worked everywhere. And then I had a brand new one for unboxing. They're very clicky, which some people are excited about clicky, some people aren't. They feel durable enough. And again, having an 8-direction joystick instead of a 4-direction, you can distinctly hear each direction of the joystick. So it's nice quality. It's durable. It's heavy. It's heavier than I thought it would be, which isn't a bad thing. It's not too heavy to make it uncomfortable to wield, but it's heavy enough where it's like this thing doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart by banging on it for a little bit. It is obviously not something you're going to control, probably not like this, right? You're probably not going to be playing it like this, even though the rubber feet would help. You're probably going to be playing it like this with your thumb, and it's pretty comfortable. Like I said, I've been playing it for about an hour. I finished Dragon's Lair all the way through from start to finish with the controller, no problems. And we'll hook it up so you can see it for yourself. So construction-wise, we're looking pretty good. The original MSRP of this guy is about 20 bucks. I don't know if I'd pay 20 bucks for one of these. I suppose if you were dying to have one to match your cabinet and you were very particular about the branding, for example, maybe you'd be willing to pay the extra dollars. For me personally, 10 bucks is about as much as I would pay, and $7.99 was a no-brainer. I should have got 5 of these things so I could give them away as Christmas presents. So let's go ahead and try this guy out with Dragon's Lair. Now, you would expect that a controller for a Replicade cabinet, even if it's not the same title, would definitely work. And I can assure you that it does work. And all of the buttons are actually mapped very, very well. So we have coin up and start. Actually works as start. And these middle white buttons I'm sorry. I believe it's the red buttons. Oh, the blue buttons bring up the on-screen display, and your red buttons are stored. Yeah, well, guess what? I can't even see what scene I'm on. I knew it was fire. There we go. Much better. And you can see it works just fine. Of course, you can't see the sword working, but I assure you that it works great. And frankly, we would expect it to work great. That was me sitting down. So anyway, so we know it works with other Replicade cabinets, but most importantly, this is great. It was really fun playing Dragon's Lair through with this. But to be honest with you, the real power of this, why I bought it to begin with, is to hook it up to my Chromebook Lenovo Duet. Yeah, thank you. It's very loud over here. The Duet would be perfect, especially when you're in, when you are in tablet mode, right? Sitting on the couch, it would be great to be able to just prop this up on your legs, or even maybe use the kickstand, and be able to plug a controller in and have it work right off the bat using emulators, right? RetroArch or your favorite emulator. It would be great to have that, even though it's wired. Wireless would be better, but listen, it was $8, right? So we're gonna try that out next. We're gonna try it against the phone and make sure it works okay on my Samsung Galaxy. And then we're gonna go over and hook it up to the PC. And I'll show you a couple of interesting things about that, because there's a couple of gotchas there. It works pretty well here, as you'll see in a minute. But when you get to the PC, interesting stuff. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you're going to need some sort of an adapter. The only type of USB plug this has is for a USB-C here in the bottom right. And then, of course, you could just plug the controller straight into there. I don't like having this little dongle, it feels kind of weak a little bit to have this sort of extension sticking out. But if you're careful and you're on the couch, you're probably okay. So let's take a look at let's look at some basic video gaming on here. RetroArch will be perfectly fine. We just want to make sure that it actually works okay. All right, so we go into RetroArch, and it shows that it's CHA2 as a controller type. And it sort of works out of the box, but you're probably going to have to go in and do some setting changes. We'll go to Input, and we'll take a look at the Port 1 controls. And we're going to go ahead and reprogram these. So D-pad up. And you'll see that it makes a change. D-pad down. Okay, at this point in time, we should be ready to go. So we'll go ahead and we will load content. Now we should be able to do everything with the controller that we wanted to do. And let's start Q-Bert. All right, and here we go. You see it works fine. It's weird having to do this at an angle, because this is already weird to be playing at an angle. Because you actually have to turn the controller a little bit because it's a diagonal directional controller. And of course, once you have an actual controller, you can turn off all these side controls and whatnot. But you can see it pretty well. It works. Okay, so let's move on to a mobile device such as my Samsung Galaxy. Thank you for your service. Okay, now we are back with a mobile device like my phone. I'm going to go ahead and just launch a Game Boy Advanced emulator. And every emulator is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have to go in and set it up yourself. It's not going to recognize and probably map to one of these things. But you can go in. I've already done it here. I just wanted you to see that it would actually work. If I go into Pac-Man Collection, I'll restart the game. And you can see it actually works very well. And again, I'm playing at an angle, so forgive me. It's nice and responsive when I can actually play without being at an angle. I love this game. I love Pac-Man Arranged. It's nice, clicky, and responsive. There's no input lag. This is all just me playing at a weird angle where I can't really see. Has nothing to do with the control stick being faulty or laggy. It's me. But you can see it works pretty well. All right, with that being said, I think it's time we went to the PC and took a look there. And this is where it becomes a little more challenging, but it's not insurmountable. Be right back. Okay, so now we're back. We're on the computer. We've got it plugged in. I did see a little pop-up that said it was installing something. This is on Windows 11. Windows 10 is very, very similar. The best way you can tell if it's actually there and working is to run over to your control panel and you view devices and printers. Once you're there, as you can see, it shows up as a CHA2. I don't know what CHA2 stands for, and it doesn't really matter. What you will find out, though, is there's a lot of games that will not immediately make use of it. If you were to run, say, XMU, you will find that it doesn't recognize the controller at all. Other games, however, let's go ahead and pop open Steam, and we'll go to our library, and we'll take a look at the Ms. Pac-Man game and play that. I've done no setup. This is work right out of the box. Right out of the box, you can just run the thing, and this controller is picked up just fine. Remember which button it was. Okay, here we go. And you can see the controller works great. And I had to do no setup, no configuration. Everything just worked right out of the box. This is not typical. You will find a lot of games, it doesn't pick up for everything. But you know what? Listen, you're not going to be playing Days Gone or Halo, or you're not going to be playing anything new with this controller. You're going to be playing it with emulation titles such as Ms. Pac-Man here. We can also look at a popular, let's say, mGBA, and you can go into your settings and go to your controller, and you can see it's really easy to set all of them, and I'll go ahead and do that. So up, it's really funny how the order that they choose to do this in. Yeah, that's it. So we got them all. All right, and so we'll go ahead and we'll load a ROM. Let's see, what's good for this sort of thing? Yeah, Pac-Man collection again. How about that? It's all Pac-Man all the time. All right, move this along. Let's go. There we go. I don't remember what buttons I mapped on for this one. Okay. And as you can see, it works great. Other than the fact that I suck. So anyway, so you can tell that it works pretty well. Great for emulators. Anything where you have to set the controls manually, you'll probably find it to be okay. Games that assume a certain type of joystick input, it may or may not work. Your mileage may vary. But it's impressive that this little guy actually works as well as it does, as universally as it does. It's unfortunate that it's wired, but listen, it's $7.99 US dollars, so it's really hard to complain. Anyway, we've probably looked at this little device enough. You probably know by now if you just have to have one or not. They do make these in other game types. I think there's a 1943 one coming. Of course, that's 20 bucks or 30 bucks, something crazy like that. So you may want to consider not caring about the branding and just getting one of these guys to hang around. And again, for Christmas presents, for white elephant gifts, for stocking stuffers, this would be amazing. I'm pretty impressed with it. Now, honestly, I will have to put another 20 or 30 hours on this controller to make sure that I actually like it from a durability point of view. Will the buttons start to get mushy? Will the stick stop responding? Are there any other problems? I've only had it for a couple of hours, but so far I've been pretty darn impressed. Well, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know what to do. As always, thanks so much for watching, and take care.